It is the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM, and we're continuing our series of getting to know our AFLW players, particularly those that hail from the regions. And joining me now on the line is Lauren Butler, who plays for the Collingwood side in the AFLW, and she is from regional Victoria as well. Great to have you on the show, Lauren. How are you?
No, I'm good, thanks. Thanks heaps for having me.
The Pies going very well in the AFLW so far this season, and what a thriller of a game it was against St Kilda. In the end, a very convincing performance, but you left it pretty close in the end, just a 2-point win, but a sensational performance in the end. And I really enjoyed seeing all that pressure early on in the game. St Kilda were just under relentless pressure from your forwards, Lauren, and they coughed it up a number of times as a result, and that's really what set the tone in the game. Even though this was a real shootout and the lead did change a number of times, Collingwood in commanding positions throughout a number of stanzas in this game, so you must have been happy about how it all went.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Basically, if you look at, I think we scored 12 points, so we were probably in control all day, and that forward pressure is something we've really been working on with our team defence, trying to block the ball in our front half, and I thought we did really well at that as a team. We just couldn't get the score on the board. So, like I said, we probably, left it a lot later than we would have liked to. But, credit to St Kilda, their pressure was so good, and they actually got the ball forward a lot less than us, but were really able to make the most of their opportunities and get some score on the board, which is, as a backline group, something we're definitely trying to work on, because we probably have been a very good defensive group all year, but credit to St Kilda for what they did. But yeah, so such a close game, and definitely a relief, but I think if you're at the game, you would have seen our excitement when the siren went. That goal from EJ was just one of the best moments I know I've ever been a part of in the game. So it was just such an exciting game, and probably like our boys as well, we just, just managed to find a way to win that close one that probably shouldn't have been as close, but it was just made it all that more exciting.
I'll tell you what, it was a scintillating moment that you just saw that bounce right on the goal line and you thought, oh goodness me, this is going to go one of two ways. But in the end, a great finish from your team. Now I just want to ask you, you're sitting very pretty in fourth position. Only percentage is keeping you apart from the top place side. So far a very good season, as we mentioned before, but you would say that a lot of your games have been low scores. Now, of course, in the end of the day, you can only beat the opposition in front of you, but is the lack of sort of goal scoring some sort of concern at all?
Yeah, definitely. I think anyone that's watching will notice that our defence is a real strength of ours, and we've been really good in that sense in limiting our opposition in being able to get high scores. But then definitely on the flip side, we've really been working on the last few weeks of how we can make the most of the opportunities when we go forward. Sometimes we're not getting it forward enough because we just, struggle to move the ball forward. Or then once we get it in there, we're really struggling to actually hit the scoreboard. So yeah, definitely not an area of concern, but something we've seen a lot of growth in our team in the last few weeks. And even though we didn't get a very high score on the weekend, I think the amount of points we scored and the way we moved the ball, we were a lot happier with, and we think we're really moving forward in the right direction. And you don't need to be peaking now, so hopefully by the time the end of the season comes, everything will start to click a bit more. But yeah, definitely something we're trying to work on while maintaining that really good team defense that we have as well.
We've got GWS coming up on the weekend. It's going to be a huge game because, of course, you want to tie up that top four as early as you can. Now, GWS, they've been fairly inconsistent themselves, of course, on the end of that absolute shellacking against the Adelaide Crows a couple of weeks ago. But a win last week, I would dare say that their confidence isn't going to be sky high. This is despite the fact that they did win their last game against Carlton. So what do you know of GWS, and how's the side feeling ahead of the game on the weekend?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They probably are a bit more up and about after their. So you can see they really responded last week when they beat Carlton compared to the week before. So I think we definitely can't underestimate them. And I guess in some ways it's a bit of a surprise fact for us as well, because we haven't actually played them in a couple of years. I don't think since back to 2019. And personally, I've never actually played them before. So I think we'll definitely have to be on our toes and knowing that they could really throw anything at us. And I think those teams as well, when they've sometimes they've got nothing to lose. You just know that they're going to come out firing and really putting on the pressure. Much like we saw Saints on the weekend, they were really impressive with that and really matched it with us. So I think, I know we've got the confidence that if we play the way we want to play, we can really hopefully outclass them and come over the top of them. But it's definitely going to be a challenge as well. And like I said before, we're just still trying to improve and work on that offensive side of things. So hopefully we can show that on the weekend.
Now, it's very clear that you're going to go on and have a long and prosperous career, Lauren. You're a very sturdy defender, only 21, already a part of the leadership group at the club. So just talk us through what your journey's been like at the Pies so far.
That's very nice of you. Like to see you go a long career, hopefully. So I was drafted back in late 2018. So there's actually a lot of us players on the team now that were drafted in that year. So they had a really strong hand in the draft and trying to bring in some youths that have been there for long term. And I was a very, very, very quiet person in my first couple of years, I'd say, shy girl from the country trying to fit into the big city, especially at Collingwood, one of the biggest clubs in the country, really. I was pretty quiet, but I guess my game has just always been based on being able to, put my head down and work really hard and never make excuses and be really accountable for anything that I do and really, take on feedback and be really coachable. So, I started in the forward line in my first season and only played a few games. I was in and out of the team in my first year, and then probably at the end of that season was moved to the back line and haven't looked back since. So I just, feel like I've been able through that hard work to just improve gradually each year, and we've got such an awesome backline group there where a cool group of us have been together for a number of years now. So Casey, Stacey Livingston, Geordie Allen, Alana Porter, there's lots of us, and then there's a few that have come in and really slot in really nicely as well. So I just absolutely love playing down there, and I know that I'm a much better player with those girls around me and the way we play together and work together and just really get each other and really understand each other both emotionally and the way that we play. So, I'm just really enjoying it. And then this year in the leadership group, definitely a bit of a surprise, but I just feel like I've already been able to grow so much as a person. We've got some really great leaders in Steph Yochi, Bree Davey, and there's lots of others as well that are coming up. So I just feel like that's really allowed me to grow off the field in that sense of my leadership as well.
Well, as they say, Lauren, it's the country athletes who are the serial quiet achievers in professional sport. I'll just take this opportunity quickly to ask you, playing for Collingwood, there must be an immense pressure that comes with it, wearing that badge every week, the massive fan base that the club has and the history the club has. Do you have to sort of get up and pinch yourself knowing that you're putting that jumper on every week?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, isn't it? And people that don't go for Collingwood, you probably hate them. I was a Hawthorn supporter growing up, but then once you're a part of it, you just realise how strong the fan base is, and it does mean so much. We've seen in the men's AFL, we really got around their team, and just how many people flock to every single match. There's sold out crowds at the MCG so often, just getting in to watch them. So, and not just the number of people, but there's also just that passion, and it really found in the women's. They just really support us as well, and it's so awesome. And you're right, it does potentially put a little bit of pressure, but it also makes playing just so much more enjoyable when you've got those fans that really mean so much and make the game so much more fun to play.
And Lauren, take us back to your sort of childhood, growing up, your background. You're from a country town near Ballarat, so just talk to us about what that was all like and what sport you played growing up.
Yeah, so I grew up in Maryborough, which is central Victoria, about halfway between Bendigo and Ballarat, and I lived out of town on about 20 acres, not a proper farm, but definitely a bit of space. I spent a lot of time out in the backyard, in the paddock with my dad with some PVC poles up as goalposts and kicking out there at half time between the AFL games on the TV. And went to school in Ballarat and at high school, and that was probably when I first started playing footy. They had a really good school girls footy program there that, it's probably where I found my love for footy. But before that, I did Auskick at the Carrot Footy Club with my brothers when I was quite young, and then like a lot of girls my age, there wasn't really an opportunity for girls to play after that. So I played lots of different sports, soccer, basketball. I was pretty into basketball, and then very, cross country. Well, just love sports, lots of different sports, and I always loved footy, but obviously I couldn't play until I got into high school, where I just loved it so much and went from there, really. Yeah, it's a short summary.
Well, it was always written, it seems, Lauren. You were always on a sports field one way or another. It's so good to have gotten to know more about the person behind the player, and we wish you and your Collingwood AFLW side all the very best going into the remainder of the season. Looks like you'll be right up there come finals time, and we wish you all the very best. Lauren Butler, thanks for joining us on the Flow Friday Sports Show.
No, thanks so much, Alice. Thanks for having me.
The AFLW Magpies star Lauren Butler there, and we'll be speaking to Tim Williams, the Mundalla Football and Netball Club president, when we return here on the Flow Friday Sports Show.